Hiya, my name's Andy, and welcome back to the channel. So I'm jumping into episode 9 of season 1 of Sense8 today. Now, there's a couple of things I did want to talk about before we jump into this one. It's stuff that I kind of was thinking about while I was editing the last episode, and it's a thing that is obviously very significant, but I did not pick up on it at all in the reaction. At the end of episode 7, I think it was the end of episode 7, when we saw the guy called Niles shoot himself, and Nomi saw the doctor guy. I still don't know what's going on with that. I'm guessing it's something to do with visiting and the other thing that they do, but he shot himself exactly the same way that Angelica shot herself in the first episode. And I feel like that has to be significant. I don't know why I didn't pick up on it at the time. So kind of to follow on from that, while I was editing the last episode, which was episode 8, something did occur to me, because we see Nomi and Will going over the stuff that they found, or that Nomi found on the doctor's computer, and I think the stuff that Will was uncovering as well, and they kind of put it together. But obviously we know the Niles guy was lobotomized by Metzger, the same guy that was going to lobotomize Nomi, and he's been doing it a lot. He's been traveling around lobotomizing people. So my kind of running theory at the moment, and please don't mention if this is right or wrong or anything like that, because I literally don't want to know. This is just me kind of thinking out loud. Is the Metzger guy lobotomizing people in order to make them vessels for this Matheson guy? And I'm not sure why I think that. Well, yes, I am sure why I think that, actually. It's because clearly Dr. Matheson isn't dead. So the only thing I can think is he was inside Niles' body. And so I don't, and maybe Nomi could see that because she is a Sense8. But I thought you had to be part of the same cluster in order to do that. I know you can visit people outside of your cluster, but isn't it, I'm trying to think of the right terms, because it's been a couple of episodes since I've seen the one where Jonas explains stuff, but isn't it visiting is what you can do with people outside your cluster, where you can kind of go and visit them and talk to them, kind of like Will and Riley did in the last episode when he visited her house in Iceland and she went to his apartment in Chicago. And then there's the sharing thing, which is what you do with people inside your cluster, or you can do with people inside your cluster, which is when you share like skills and languages and stuff, which is where you are literally, you kind of become that person, like Sun and Capheus did when she did the boxing thing, or the kickboxing thing. So maybe this Matheson guy has found a way to share outside of a cluster and can then use that. Because if he could do that, he would then have an army of people that he could get into and use at will. Not meaning that will, but at will. And maybe the lobotomizing thing is part of it. Maybe he needs their mental state to be broken down somewhat, because maybe like a completely mentally healthy person would repel him from doing that. And actually the reason I thought of that is because of Game of Thrones. Spoilers if you've never watched Game of Thrones and you're intending to, but the whole Hodor thing. But anyway, like I said, please don't actually kind of confirm or deny or anything else in the comments, because I really am enjoying just trying to figure out stuff as I go. As always, obviously, if you are into full-length reactions, you can find the link to my Patreon in the description below. Otherwise, we'll jump into this episode. This is Sense8, Season 1, Episode 9. Oh, this is the beach where she went into the cave? Yes. That is, Slightly alarming.
I remember the first time you sang with me.
I don't know why we sing such terrible things for children. Maybe we try to warn them of what's to come.
You're not one of the hidden people, are you?
If you mean an elf, no.
Is this real?
You're like me.
Sense8.
Oh!
Do you live here in Iceland?
I do.
Okay, this is weird. I don't know why I didn't think she was a Sense8.
Why didn't you tell me the truth?
I needed you to believe me. I needed you to believe that you weren't safe here.
Oh.
Another.
So are we celebrating or mourning? I don't know what it's like to be famous, but I know what it's like living two lives.
You know who I am?
You're an actor, right? I saw you in that telenovela where you had an evil twin that was trying to take over your life, right? But that's what this is about, isn't it? We all have this Mother Nature, this secret self that is capable of really beautiful and really terrible things. I too have a secret self, and right now, it really wants taking to that bathroom over there.
What are you doing? How can you possibly think that I could be like that?
Wow.
The Biologic Preservation Organization funds projects in order to track and hunt down any potential Sense8.
Do you work for them?
I try to save the ones I can before they're discovered. Your mother brought you in to see if you had the genes for the same disease that was killing her. Unfortunately, I saw the report on you before anyone else did.
You told a child she was hexed. You made me believe that I caused my mother's death.
I'm sorry if I caused you unnecessary pain.
Because of you, I believed that what happened in the mountains was my fault.
My intention was to protect you.
What happened in the mountains?
You have children?
Never wanted them. Afraid they would be hunted. That I would have to feel them die.
Oh shit. This is the case that Will talked about. Sarah. Was it Sarah somebody? That we don't really know anything about, but it's apparently a big deal to Will.
Don't look at him. That's how he got me. He knows you're here. Run.
Look at me! Look at me!
So they've been Sense8 since they were I can't speak. Can't say that sentence. They've had it since they were kids, like since they were born. Oh, hello.
Hello, Will.
You knew what was happening. Why didn't you help me?
I took terrible chances to protect you. I felt your pain. I called the rescue authorities. If I hadn't gotten involved, you'd be dead.
That's all I wanted. To be dead. To be with them.
I know. When we lost one of our cluster, I thought the pain would destroy me.
Jesus.
But if we're lucky, it gives us another chance.
What if you don't want another chance?
If you didn't, you wouldn't have come looking for me.
I wasn't sure I'd be able to find you. Where are you? I don't know.
What are they doing to you?
Watching, measuring. Those cameras are recording this. So if I want to say anything I don't want them to hear, I have to come to you. If you visit, you speak as a voice in my head.
But if I speak without visiting, it looks like I'm talking to myself. I figured that out the hard way. We have to get you out of there.
I've been unconscious for so long, I could be anywhere. Don't worry about me.
I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
Angelica didn't believe in fault. She said it was the present, understood by people looking backward. We have to look forward. If we don't, we won't survive.
Now that you know the truth, it's time for me to go.
Why?
Because you came back. And if they find you, you're going to lead them straight to me.
Shit.
Accidents happen. You know that more than most.
I won't tell anyone about you.
You won't have a choice. They have ways, techniques of tracing the Sicilium.
Sicilium?
Psychic nervous system. It connects us. If you listen closely to it, you can hear it vibrating. Follow where the feeling takes you.
I know all about BPO. I will find you.
There are more important things than me.
Riley.
The girl from Iceland.
Who are you talking to?
Jonas.
You found him.
Is she with someone?
Her name's Ursa. She's like us.
You like this girl, don't you?
You feel very connected to this boy.
I remember what it was like to first share someone's every thought.
This is very dangerous.
I was in love with Angelica from the moment her eyes touched.
Love inside a cluster is pathological. Ask when he was born.
She wants to know when your birthday is.
August 8th. What?
That's my birthday.
Cluster's always born on the same day.
However far across the world a cluster is scattered, the first breath they take as one.
Love inside a cluster is the worst kind of narcissism.
What?
I have to go. I hope you can help Jonas.
Jonas? Is that Jonas Maliki?
What's Jonas's last name?
Maliki.
Shit.
Get away from there.
She's gone. Don't let her stay in Iceland. A lot of genetic research funded by BPO is done there. Many of us have gone there and never come out.
If you keep using us and them, who are we?
Who we are is less relevant than what we are. And what we are is different from them.
I know who birthed you. Angelica Jory. Don't you ever be in touch with that bastard again.
Why?
He and that bitch were collaborators. They hunted our kind for BPO. They worked with whispers. They would give birth to clusters and use them to find others.
But he tried to help us.
If your boy is connected to Jonas, it won't be long till whispers will find you.
No, I don't trust this woman.
You're on your own.
Wow. Yeah, I don't trust this woman at all.
For who now is your father if it is not me?
What are you doing here?
Your family. How is he?
Was it not his son that did it?
Life is simple. Life's just 5 things. Eating, drinking, shitting, and fighting for more. Right. When we were boys, your father would say that to me, and then he would punch me as hard as he could. After he was killed, I realized this was bullshit. At that moment, all I wanted from life was one thing: revenge. I wanted the man who killed him. And for that one thing, I would have given all the rest. My blood is in your veins, Wolfgang. I'm sympathetic. But please, tell me you're smart enough to know that this was a mistake. Tell me that you understand this can go no further.
What was a mistake?
I love you, Wolfgang, but please don't make me
Okay, the
choose between
diamond
you
thing.
and my son.
There's so much going on.
So you said you and Mr. Russell were talking.
What did you want to talk about?
A personal matter.
Did you know that Mr. Russell had sponsored a bill that would make certain religious practices illegal?
Several witnesses testified that they've seen you pledging your weight in bananas.
Is that true?
Yes.
Did you know that act would be illegal if Mr. Russell's bill had passed?
No.
You know a man who calls himself Guru Yash?
Okay, that's enough. All these questions are completely inappropriate. You all right?
Do they think I had something to do with this?
Kala, my father had many enemies. He had so many death threats that going to the temple was just asking for trouble. You did nothing wrong, Kala.
I mean, I don't think she did anything wrong, but I don't know where he is in all of this.
You know, there's a line in your film, The Passion of the Sinner, that always makes me think of this museum. My heart is not a clock. Beautiful line, made sublime by your performance.
They're gonna kill me with this song.
And every time I hear that line, I am reminded that love, like art, must always be free.
I feel like I've barely said anything in this episode, but I'm just learning so much. Oh.
You're Lito.
You know me. This really isn't a good time for me.
It's not really a good time for me either.
Why are you here then?
I don't know. I was almost killed. I didn't know where to go, so I went home. And the next thing I knew, I was here. You have a boyfriend?
Not anymore.
What happened?
I got scared. I play heroes all the time, but in real life, I'm a coward.
"773? You have a visitor.
Shit.
Thank you. I have not slept since you came here.
I've never slept so well.
I'm not a good person.
Father, you owe me nothing.
I'm not a good person. When your mother was alive, I was a better person. She made me better. When she died, I thought that part of me died with her. But it didn't. It is right here. My company, my wealth, even my reputation is meaningless without my daughter. I'm going to tell the truth. Fernando brought me here on our first date.
Yeah, I would be ashamed of it. Nothing about it is free.
All afternoon, he was telling me stories about the art in here. Fernando can talk about football, about wrestling, about paintings with such a passion and love. And I was here listening to him for hours, and our first kiss was over there. I told Hernando from the beginning, I told him how it had to be.
What went wrong?
I did. I'm afraid I will lose everything that I've worked for.
I know how that feels. But at a certain point, I realized there's a huge difference between what we work for and what we live for.
My whole life, what I wanted to be was an actor. But you can't be an actor and get the parts I want. I'm being gay.
I love dolls. My father could never forgive me for that. When I was 8 years old, my father made me join a swim club. He said that the things that he learned in that locker room were the things that made him the man that he is today. I hated that locker room. You had to take a shower before you could go in the pool. The boys would tease me, but I would try to hurry, and it worked for a while. And then one day it didn't. I remember having this feeling that something bad was going to happen.
Why are you showing with your clothes on?
I made the mistake of standing up for myself.
Let's strip it!
The hot water came from the same boiler that heated the radiator.
Jesus.
I still have scars on my stomach from the second-degree burns.
Stop it! Fucking monsters. Sorry.
After that, I quit the swim club. I quit trying to fit in, trying to be one of them. I knew I never would be. But more importantly, I didn't want to be. The real violence is the violence that we do to ourselves when we're too afraid to be who we really are.
I'm just gonna give up.
Thank you.
Why?
It's Mother. She says she needs to see you.
Okay. Of course.
My husband is a good man. He helps many people. He cares about people. Please, would you pray with me to Sri Ganesh? Tell Sri Ganesh he's a good man.
Of course.
Your father and I visit here sometimes. We sit with them. One time it was too cold. I said it was stupid and a waste of time because nothing mattered to them anymore. He told me he didn't do it for them. He said he did it whenever he missed you.
I'm sorry I haven't come back. I wasn't strong enough. I thought I would stand here and want to die again. Or worse, that I would stand here and not want to. I still think of you coming to my school. It's like something that happened to someone else. Let me see it with you.
That's obviously something that happened in the mountain.
Oh, oh. I knew you'd be here. I knew you'd find me.
Oh God.
Hello. How's Iceland? You'd rather be here.
You don't have to talk if you don't want to.
I've never told anyone. I couldn't go to the funeral. He was my husband. I loved him. I
Shit.
couldn't say goodbye.
But you have now.
I Lito, but if it's possible, death doesn't let you say goodbye. It just carves holes in your life, in your future, in your heart.
My sister was born when I was 8. She was so small and delicate. I carried her around all the time. I loved her. But we did not have any food. My mother was unable to produce any milk. If we did not give her to the nuns, she would have died. Saying goodbye was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I cried as if she had died. That day I learned life and death are always so mixed up together. In the same way, some beginnings are endings, and some endings become beginnings.
Hello, this is Fernando. Now, you say something.
Fernando, please, pick up the phone.
Fernando! I understand why you won't pick up. This is my fault. I've always tried to be worthy of your love. I disappointed you. I've let you down. I've let Daniela down. Fernando, I miss you.
Mailbox is full.
No. Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's fake. My life. I'm fake. What I know how to do is lie.
I almost said at the beginning of this episode, I hope I don't feel like I need to cry as much as I did in the last episode. This one was like 6,000 times worse. I also felt like I barely said anything. And like, honestly, to start off with, I think probably for the first half of this episode, I didn't say much because we were being given like so much information and backstory on characters. Like, we found out a lot of Riley's past, we found out like Lito's romance with Hermando, how that started. We obviously found out a bit about Nomi as well. So that was kind of why I didn't say anything in the first half of the episode, because I was like, oh, all this information, I need to kind of absorb it. And then the second half of the episode, I couldn't speak because I was too busy crying. Yeah, Lito just kills me. I mean, they all kill me, honestly, to some extent when they're going through stuff, but I just want to hug him. But yeah, the conversation that Nomi had with Lito, I thought was just lovely. And that's what I felt like this episode was a lot of. It was a lot of supporting each other. I was going to say I think the only person that didn't was Sun, but that's a lie because Wolfgang and Carla were definitely kind of on their own in this episode. So like Wolfgang has basically been threatened by his uncle. Well, that's kind of how I took that. And Carla is obviously in a bit of trouble. Well, she's not in trouble, but she's got all the wedding stuff and the father-in-law that's just been stabbed, and she's being questioned by the police, and a husband that, does he want to marry her? I don't know. I always said that the husband, like Carla's husband to be, seemed kind of too nice. But I do wonder if that is genuine and he really does love her and it's just the dad that's a bit dodgy. But yeah, I think the biggest surprises in this episode was Riley. I don't know why I kind of didn't put 2 and 2 together with the whole Sense8 thing and the woman in the cave singing. And I don't trust her. I know she said that Riley shouldn't trust Jonas or Angelica, but I think if anybody is searching for Sense8s for that organisation, it's going to be the woman and not the other two. But yeah, we found out as well, obviously, that Riley had a husband. We don't know the details of what happened there, but obviously something pretty traumatic. You know, he's obviously dead, and she, I think, blames herself. That was episode 9, so we've got 3 episodes left of this first season. I am going to be reacting to the second season as well. I don't see any reason to stop, honestly. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm just going to literally continue with it. As soon as I finish season 1, I'll just hop straight into season 2. But yeah, I think on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.